Good evening, America. Welcome to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. If you all been paying attention, like we all should be paying attention, the Marxist left has been absolutely beside themselves with what Trump is doing and how Doge is just getting down. I'm gonna bring up the Doge clock in a minute, and we're just gonna go over some stuff, hit some Doge stuff tonight. It's just amazing, right? Because if anybody hasn't actually gone to the website, it's just a wealth of information there. So like take your time. I will put it in the description after using it tonight. So I will let you all know. If you're just joining us, say hello. What's up, Scoob? What is going on, Jonathan, Stevie? I hope you're feeling better tonight. Yeah, definitely. Say what's up in the chat. Say hello. Introduce yourselves. We usually have a pretty lively chat every night, so it'd be good to if you're a new viewer, just say what's going on, and if you want to tell us where you viewing from. It's always good to know where our people are tuning into. So if you want to support the channel, there is a buy me a coffee link at the top of the chat pin there. By all means, anything that is donated will actually go to the channel, and in order for me to bring uh, content to you and to make the channel better. So links are at the top of the chat. um yeah. All right, so yeah, definitely I'm gonna elaborate a lot tonight, Scoop, on on some Doge stuff. But for first, let's bring up the what do you call it, um the Doge clock. Okay, so like my face is gonna disappear here, fam, because I'm just, you want to see my fat face while we're going over this stuff. So as of today, okay, we are at $55 billion. So the goal, if anybody was paying attention when after the election and the announcement of Doge by Trump and by Elon Musk, they have a 2-year window essentially to try to save $2 trillion is what they said they were going to do. So they're at 2.75% right now of their total goal. So like that's good stuff. Right off the bat, they found a whole bunch of stuff, and the left is not having it. Right, you have these monkeys out there chirping and whatnot, and all over the airwaves, just blasting it all over the airwaves that we can't be cutting all these government jobs. So just so you guys can get an understanding, yes, there are people that have lost jobs. That is absolutely correct. Most of those jobs are all probationary jobs. So with people that just got hired essentially under the Biden administration, a little bit, less than a year. If you're on probation, you're essentially less than a year. I guess depending on the job, there's probably a longer stipulation. If you were in law enforcement, you're probably have a longer probationary period. But anyway, a lot of these positions were taken away, and if you've been following what Doge has been doing, essentially they've been pretty transparent. They put the information on Twitter, or rather X, right away. It's on their websites, and I'm going to bring their website into the picture here shortly, too, so you can see. So if you're using the Doge live tracker, this clock, okay, again, I will put it in the description for the channel for tonight's show, and then that way, if you guys ever want to come back, and you can click on it, and so you can actually get to different places. You can get to the official website from the Doge clock page, right? So if you go to savings, right, which is I'm going to click on that right now, and I'll bring it up in a sec. Got to do some work, but I'm going to bring it up for you all right now. Yeah, so if you go to the Doge tracker, the clock that shows you on a daily basis what's being saved. So in a month's time, we've saved $55 billion. Okay, and we're what do you call it? We're on the move, fam. President said this is what he was gonna do. He charged Elon Musk to go ahead and do this, and Elon Musk is doing this. So they're besides themselves. They just can't fathom. Okay, that what Elon is doing. And here's the so again, I clicked on the savings link on the Doge clock, and it takes you right to the official website, and you can go through all of these. Okay, um, Let me see if I can, what do you call it? I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit for you all. All right. So it gives you the savings on the savings page right now. This is, you can click on each and every department, right? So you got USA. You can, it's telling you all the top agencies. Actually, you can't click on it. My bad, people. But he's also got a wall of receipts. So what they've done on the website is the top agencies of total contract savings, and then they got a wall of receipts. This is Commodity Futures Trading Commission. These are contracts. I mean, there's really a lot that you can do from this webpage, right? So if you go to I just went to the main page. They also have a links of everything they're putting out on Twitter, or X rather. So it's not anything. They're not hiding anything. They're not hiding anything. Here you go, right here. This is, I clicked the spend tab, and Department of Health and Human Services in 2019. Just look at this. What they were spending from 2019, and then in 2024 they do what do you call it, a comparison of what was being spent. So a lot of a lot of people are going crazy, and they're beside themselves. They don't want to hear that we're trying to save money or anything like that. And especially, what you got to understand is their hand has been in the cookie jar for a long time. A lot of these people, mainly Democrats, a lot of Republicans too. They're complicit in this shit too. So people, what do you call it, making money hand over fist. This is how they launder the money. And again, if you just go to the Doge clock, there are links to the main page, and then you can really really deep dive into this for a very long time. It'll probably take you, because it's something else. It's amazing to see, you know. And then we'll go over to the legacy media, right? They're just losing their shit right now. There's an article from the Gateway Pundit, and it's from today. This was earlier today. It says the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency is about to provide a staff member access to IRS data, right? So if you guys have been listening to the news, they've been freaking up in arms about Doge going into the IRS. This is causing the media and the Democrats to spin into a frenzy. Gavin Kliger, a software engineer who works at Doge, will be based at the IRS for 120 days. Oh God, they're gonna hate him over that. And he will reportedly have access to tax agencies' data, according to Monday. Kliger will work as a senior advisor for the IRS acting commissioner. Waste, fraud, and abuse have been deeply entrenched in our broken system for far too long. It takes direct access to the system to identify and fix it. That's what the White House Deputy Press Secretary Harrison Fields told CNN the other day. Um, you know, it's something else. But what you got to understand, they're bitching about that, right? And it turns out, okay, that the Biden administration gave 919 people access to this stuff, to all our information, fam. Listen, we've given our information out to everything. They're not trying to pour through people's freaking social security numbers. This is not what they're doing, right? So look, as on one report from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration revealed that as of September 2023, there were as many as 919 individuals who had access to unmasked IRS data, which means that they weren't protecting it. So they had complete total access to everything at the IRS. The unmasked data contains personal identifiable information and requires executive level approval to access, right? So like you have to get approval for this shit. All right. From essentially the administration. Trump has to approve this, right? And Biden was doing that. 919 people, okay, had our information, and they were just doing who knows what with it, probably selling that shit to the Chinese and everything else, you know. It's just crazy. It's nuts, right? So people are freaking out. The left is just, they can't handle themselves. They're just freaking, they're full of shit anyway. Okay, and they're just losing their shit, you know. And one of the things that Doge, something Elon has brought up to Donald Trump, is this right here. You guys, if this would be good if it's true, and if it happens, right? you guys been paying attention, this came out earlier today too. Says Elon Musk opened to Doge dividend payments that could send $5,000 checks to every American taxpayer. And Trump actually was he was out somewhere speaking, and he was actually talking about this earlier today as well. So Elon Musk showed interest in an innovative way of showing the country the savings his Department of Government Efficiency is making. Musk posted on the X platform on Tuesday saying he would check with the president about a proposal to send $5,000 checks to every American using money saved by Doge's cost cutting operations. The idea was initially proposed by James Fishback, a partner at the investment firm Azoria. He explained the idea as follows. So few in America knew precisely what to expect from Doge. The early perceived turbulence around leadership, the uncertainty around the legal structure, and the lack of precedent for such a bold initiative. That's actually incorrect. There's precedent for it. Created a sense of show me with Doge. President Obama was going to do it, and Clinton actually did it. Just a month into President Trump's second term, Doge is delivering full stop. With Doge reportedly achieving 1 billion in savings per day, okay, President Trump has an opportunity to work with Congress to take Doge one step further and deliver what we at Azoria call the Doge dividend, a tax refund check to be sent after the expiration of Doge in July 2026, funded exclusively with a portion of the total savings delivered by Doge. So, that's the idea. Personally, I'd like to see that come a lot quicker, right? Because we've been holding up our government for a very, very long time. Too many people are just doing all kinds of crazy stuff with our money, And what's going on? The Chris Diffluence is in the house. Hey, what's going on, Kristen? Um, so they've been dipping their hands and stuff. Our government is just they just there was a report yesterday as well, something about I want to say $4.7 trillion in some sort of government hole where they can't even track it. It's a black hole for the government. They don't even know where that money went, right? I mean, if you were following along with the USAID, you see that they were funding the media. The Marxist state media was getting paid from them. They funded gain of function, which created the uh, the COVID virus. Okay, so all of this stuff, there's they were funding terrorist organizations. USAID was created. Okay, well, and we're going to do some conspiracy theory stuff here. It was actually created for the CIA, right? Like it wasn't supposed to be for the CIA, but that's the CIA would use USAID on more than one occasion to get into countries all around the world so that they can, get the intelligence they needed and whatnot for the United States and do whatever nefarious shit that they were deciding to do in some of these countries, right? So it turned into essentially what do you call it, a finger of the CIA and probably our other intelligence agencies as well, because we got quite a few, CIA being the big one. So you know, it was discovered almost immediately, right? They went in there, these guys went in there, and some dude with the handle named Harry Balls is freaking hilarious. All right. They actually got someone on CNN to say it, Harry Balls. Pretty great. Um, they were just up, they were so upset that somebody with that handle was actually in there digging shit. So the media is upset because they were getting paid from it, right? It was boosting the media and stuff. So again, go to the Doge website. You can check stuff out there. You can check out, the breakdowns of stuff and everything. They give you everything that you need to know. It's a really, really good website. I was really, really genuinely surprised to see. Well, I mean, it's Elon, right? I don't trust him 100%, but he was given a task by the president and he's doing it, and his people are doing it. He's got these 20 something year old kids in there just absolutely wrecking shop, and that's what we want. Okay, we want to get our money back, people. We need to know where our money's going. Anything we can recoup or recover, we want that immediately. We have spent so much money for decades upon decades, okay, just going to just needless places, to needless things, not only in our country but mostly around the world. And if you were paying attention, the Trump administration has put a freeze on uh, foreign aid, except for Turkey and Israel, which I wish he should have put a freeze on that shit too. In my opinion, everybody should just be stuck right now, waiting for whatever's going to happen, because the money just it's just got to stop. You know, um, It's so bad that this dude, our biggest welfare recipient, uh, what's his name, Vladimir Zelensky, was on some PR offensive, you know, saying that Trump is being provided Russian disinformation. Essentially, is what he said. You know, here we go. We'll get into that a little bit really quick. This is our biggest welfare recipient, fam. So Zelensky launches PR offensive, accuses Trump of living in a Russian disinformation bubble. Trump issues savage response, calls him a dictator. She is. You know, if you guys have seen any of my previous videos on him, my short form videos that I did last year, I was calling him Putin light, right? He's done everything that Putin has done. He's done the same shit in his country. Okay. He suspended elections in 2024, which is when he was supposed to be, they were supposed to have an election, got rid of all his political opposition. He was arresting people and whatnot and stuff and forcing them out of the country. Same stuff that Putin was doing in Russia. He's Putin light. And it's funny that he's on his horse talking this shit and everything like that, but the reality is he was going to be given a seat at the table. He chose not to go. you know that's what he did. He chose to just not go to Saudi Arabia or send a delegation to Saudi Arabia so that he could sit at the table, right? Because he thinks that by playing hardball with the United States and calling Trump all kinds of stuff and essentially calling Trump a moron, that's going to help his cause somehow, right? Because like the spigot is going to be cut off from the United States because one, we've been paying the most. The Europeans, it should have been equal. Well, we should have been paying at all. But if we were stuck doing this, okay, it should have been the Europeans should have matched us. But we were, as always, we get stuck footing the bill, and we spend an enormous amount of money on what's going on in Ukraine. And I have nothing against the Ukrainians, obviously fighting for their freedom, and the Russians did attack them, okay, but it's not like Zelensky isn't to blame, for some of the problems as well, and so I had no issues with that, but just this constant giving our money away to Ukraine was something that I couldn't stomach as the year was going around. Especially like last year, every time I turned around, I was making a video about another, $500-600 million going to Zelensky. Even he admitted that he doesn't know where all the money went, right? So like there was no oversight of any of this money, except that the Democrats did they kind of alluded to what was going on, right? Like I forgot what the name of that congresswoman was. Um, yeah, you're absolutely right, Kristen. Says what a fraud, unreal. Our government gave this clown fool over 100 billion of our hard-earned money. That is it's so showing up in old Navy sweaters at the White House. I really like his drag queen music videos. Yeah, so I think Trump called him today a semi something s- I don't know, something about a comedian. Um, yeah, Scoob, you're absolutely correct, man. Says Zelensky is a fucking clown. Ukrainians deserve better than that. He's a Timu president. No shit. Well, again, what you guys have to understand is that he actually there was going to be an election in 2024. They do elections every 5 years in Ukraine. Okay, and he canceled. He what do you call it? He suspended the elections and got rid of any of his opposition. And yeah, a lot of this money did get funneled back to him. Yeah. Yep, it did get funneled back this way through FTX and also through the purchasing of military equipment, right? Because a lot of our congressmen and women are connected with the military industrial complex, and they get all kinds of dividends from their stocks and stuff like that. So that's how a lot of these people and they get kickbacks and everything. This is what they're afraid of with Doge is that it's going to uncover a lot of this, and we say it all the time. If you just follow the money, you'll probably get to where you need to get to. And in this case, though, there's just so many tentacles where this money has been touched by so many different people, and sent to so many people. It's one hell of a task that Doge has. And listen, as long as if he ends up getting $2 trillion in 2 years, that's something else. But wouldn't mind getting, I damn sure wouldn't mind getting a nice paycheck back, a dividend from the savings, and then the rest paying our debt down. And I think if you go to the debt clock, I believe they actually have a Doge clock there now too. Uh, let me pull that up for you guys. Yes, there is a Doge clock there. All right. Give me 1 second. I will bring that up so that we can see that together because they added a Doge clock. So if you guys have actually seen what the debt clock is, it's constantly, it has a breakdown of how our money is essentially being spent and the debt that we're just accruing and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting to see, and they've added the uh, the Doge clock to it, which is pretty cool, right? It's pretty neat. Let's bring that in for you all to see. Pretty neat. Good stuff. So the Doge clock is again, there it is right there. That's what the savings is from Doge. That's something else because the Doge clock says 55 billion. This is saying 114 billion in savings. That just might be something else. So the national debt was at 37 when Trump took over. It's down to 36. I mean, obviously it's still going up. It's not gonna. We're just accruing everything, right? So again, if you want to see how everything is going, look, it even has a breakdown. The debt clock even has a breakdown of, the tax revenue, state revenue, local revenue, state debt, debt per citizen. It has it broken down, so you can see absolutely everything. It has the cost. Healthcare costs now it's 9,000 per individual. The official unemployed. It's got a lot of different things that you can actually um, take a look at. So that's so what the ultimate breakdown all the way down to the end. If you look at the end of the clock down there, down at the bottom right is $666,544,000 per citizen, a tax liability per citizen. There's no way in the hell that we can do that. You know, um, yeah, it does. You're absolutely correct. Uh, Scoop says it just looks disrespectful pulling up asking for money just like a Barnes and Noble associate. It's true. Like he rolled up in there like he was working at fucking Starbucks and whatnot. You know, um, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's an amazing thing to watch. This dude just comes up. Like Kristen said, in an old Navy sweatshirt and some cargo pants. And he just, you're gonna meet the president of the United States. Listen, I know that Joe Biden was a piece of crap. We know that he wasn't even in charge anyway. But you're going to meet the president of the United States, not just the United States. If you're meeting because he did this, he didn't just do that here. Everywhere he went, he was dressed like, he was in an Old Navy ad from the 1990s, cargo pants and Old Navy sweatshirt. So this is everywhere he went. That's how he dressed, as if like he was like if as if he was in the front lines actually fighting, which he's not. And a lot of that money I know I saw video footage like in the beginning of all this. There was literally in Kiev, there was a nightlife. I was like, this can't be true. I think believe it or not, I think one of the Marxist organizations actually covered it. I want to say ABC or some shit, probably the World News type thing, or 2020 or something. Covered it. There was a nightlife going on in Kiev during the middle of a war, right? So that money that we were sending initially and right up until we stopped was going to the oligarchy there. It was just disappearing. Like half of it. There's a report that Tucker Carlson, I believe it was Tucker Carlson put out a report. Can you look this up for me, Jonathan? I think Tucker Carlson put out a report that uh, he was selling a lot of the equipment that was actually going over there to our enemies. I don't know how much validity there is to that. I have to look into that further, but Tucker Carlson put that out and he does some pretty extensive research before he does something like that and puts it out. So any kind of information like that. Um, that's how Tucker Carlson rolls. He does some pretty extensive research, and if he gets something wrong, he retracts almost immediately. And I haven't heard him retract or anybody retract that at all. But again, I think it was Tucker that put that out, that this guy's actually selling our military equipment overseas, essentially black marketing our shit, all right, to get money. And that's again, there's no oversight of the money that went to this fool, okay, and went to the Ukrainians, the Ukrainian government. So when there's no oversight, people are gonna, and the oversight was done intentionally, right? Because a lot of that shit ended coming up back here, like what Jonathan Stevie was saying, dumped into FTX and crypto and all that other shit, and right back into people's pockets back here in the United States, in particular our politicians and the military-industrial complex. So just wicked shit, man. It's just nefarious. So that's one of the reasons why we got an organization like Doge, right? It's a civilian organization. It's not even really attached to the government. They have a mandate, and this thing is not unprecedented of getting civilians to come in and actually audit the government. It's not something the Clinton administration did it. Okay, so Jonathan says he says yes, that was Tucker. He said that around February 11th, so that was what, last week. Um, you know so this thing about auditing our government is not a new thing. It's not something that's just it's something that Congress should be doing, right? Regardless of party affiliation. Is something that our representatives, Congress and the Senate, actually too, because the Senate, they got these committees too to appropriate funds and stuff, so you could get money from both Congress and the Senate when they put their bills together. So it's to get it in front of the president, whoever the president is, to sign into law. So, this is no oversight, something that our representatives, our Congress, both the House and the Senate, are supposed to do, and we have to bring in 20-year-old kids to come in and actually fix shit, and saving us almost $100 million in a month. So it's sad that it even has to happen that way, but that's the way it goes. Because again, most of these politicians, regardless of party affiliation, no matter what they have in front of their name, okay, are stuck getting money. They're getting paid, again, dividends from stocks, from the MIC, from big farm, from big ag. They got their hands everywhere. It's the reason why someone like AOC is making 200 something $1,000 a year, but she's worth a couple of $1 million. Uh, she's worth a significant amount. Nancy Pelosi's been there since fucking the dawn of time, since man was walking Earth and stuff like that. The dinosaurs were fucking roaming, and Nancy Pelosi was in Congress. It's just the same. Chuck Schumer, another guy who's just been or speaking of Chuck Schumer, let's bring that fucking fuckneck up really quick. Hang on, I got something for his ass too, for you guys, about his punk ass. Just out there talking shit and all that other stuff. And damn, I saw the article earlier today. I gotta find it. Um, oh yeah. So here we go. I love it. Doge is special. It's it's very special. What's going on? This is something that's gonna happen to uh because of Doge. This is what's gonna happen. Now I don't know if anything's gonna come of it, but we would like something to come of it, right? So it says the acting DC U.S. Attorney Ed Martin launches investigation into threats against Doge workers, reveals that Schumer is the target of the probe. Does That shouldn't be surprising, right? Because he's a scumbag. So, his acting U.S. Attorney for D.C., Ed Martin, launched an investigation into threats against Doge workers on Wednesday and revealed Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer as the target. Earlier this month, Ed Martin announced his office would be charging and arresting individuals who threaten Elon Musk's Doge team, as they should be. Our initial review of the evidence presented to us indicates that certain individuals and/or groups have committed acts that appear to violate the law in targeting Doge employees, Ed Martin said. He says, we are in contact with the FBI and other law enforcement partners to proceed rapidly. We also have our prosecutors preparing, Ed Martin added. And then, yeah, it just, they're calling it Operation Whirlwind after Schumer's threats to conservative Supreme Court justices. So again, this fuckneck, okay, is just out there just talking shit all the time, running his soup cooler. What's that, Scoob? Says every time I see Joe, Zelensky was right there looking like that one cousin that always volunteers to hold grandma's purse. It's true. It's true, man. He's just like, with his puppy dog eyes, and trying to get all kinds of oh, please, woe is me, help me, help me, help me. Please help me. We need the money. I need the money. Show me the money. But he's just a scumbag, you know. And speaking of Chuck Schumer, here we got a nuts. This is great. This the people. These are the people that they associate with. Chuck Schumer, fam. Here you go. If you're in New York, this is your senator hanging out with the CCP. So Chuck Schumer smiles as he shares stage with CCP official who denies human rights abuses against the Uyghurs. Right? If you know anything about the Uyghurs, they're in camps doing all kinds of slave labor. They're Muslims in China, okay, getting absolutely wrecked by the Chinese government in these camps. So Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has some interesting friends. Schumer was spotted this week smiling while sharing with a Chinese Communist Party official. Chinese Consul General in New York, Chen Li. Li is a staunch denier of the horrific human rights abuses against the Uyghurs in his country. Schumer, who supports censoring Americans, excuse me, yeah, he does definitely support censoring Americans, uh, and is actively attempting to derail President Trump's mandates, which the American people endorsed with his decisive victory. Joined Lee to celebrate the annual Lantern Festival parade in New York City. Yeah, again, there it is, fam. These are the people that are tied with and it's not only Democrats again that are tied with into the CCP. Mitch Foreskin Neck McConnell, he's what you call it, tied to the CCP through his wife. They all got Chinese ties, a lot of them. This is what does Scoop say? It says Chuck the type of guy that closes the fridge with his hips. It's true. He just if he can even close the hip, he'll close them with his hips because he can't fucking barely walk too. He's hunched over. If you ever see him walking, he's like hunched over and stuff like that. He's having problems because his age. He's another motherfucker that's been there for quite some time that needs to go. It's been a very, very long time uh with these fuckers, man. Chuck Schumer, but again, that's New York for you. And you know, that's it's just the way it is. New York hasn't learned their lesson yet. They're hurting. They just got saved, by the way, by President Trump. With that what do you call it? Is that with that congestion tax thing that Kathy Hochul was trying to do there? He what do you call it? He saved their asses with that because it was put in during the Biden administration, like in for approval, from the Department of Transportation, and it was in the middle of approval. And what do you call it? Trump put the kibosh on that shit. Yeah, he put the kibosh on that today, actually. So this morning, I posted that on my Instagram this morning. Someone that I follow and someone that I've collaborated with too, they had it up really quickly because they're from New York. So I sent that out right away, and I was happy for them they got that. What do you call it? Oh shit, scoop. Says Mitch, the only dude I know that owns foreskin cologne. Smelly foreskin cologne. Just like a Johnson that hasn't been washed for like 3 weeks, being out in the field as a fucking grunt, eating MREs. That's the smell. It's just, it's abysmal. And listen, if you're just joining us, we were talking about Doge tonight. If you're a new, viewer and you just started following, say hello in the chat, say what's up to everybody, and we'd like to know where you're from. And we got a pretty good community here. We got a community of truth tellers and truth seekers in our chats, and it's always a good conversation that goes on in the chats. So don't be afraid to say hello to one another. People will respond to you, and if you have questions, they'll bring them. If I miss it, my mod will actually, he'll remind me about stuff. So I got a very, very good mod that's always on top of stuff. So if I miss something, he lets us know right away. So by all means, say hello to us. We want to know that you're hanging with us and whatnot. Want to know who you are. Again, we're talking about Doge. We've talked a little bit now about Chuck the Schmuck Schumer. You know, yeah, so 3 weeks of MRE's gas is definitely a smell. Man, if you've eaten MREs for that long, like I've done that before. I've been in the field for like forever, and you're just eating freaking MREs, and it's bad when you just eat MREs. It's terrible. And the constipation that comes with it too is just insane. But some of them taste really, really good. They've done. I haven't eaten one in quite some long. Yes, this is the Kristen said. The Chris influence says the crypt keeper who belongs nowhere near the U.S. government. Yeah, it's time for him to go. It's time for a lot of these people to go, right? So it's up to us, America. It's up to the population, the citizenry, to get together and boot these clowns. You have to boot these clowns, okay? Yes, they did finally get rid of the veggie omelet. That motherfucking veggie omelet was still around in the early 2000s, the last time I was in. It's just that the veggie omelet was terrible. My understanding is they actually got better in recent years. But MREs are still MREs and they still wreck your shop. So if none of you served in the military, and MRE is a meal ready to eat that we eat out in the field. It's rations essentially, and it's just filled with calories, um, to keep us going because we're on the run when we're in the field training. Uh, in the combat, well, actually, in the combat zone, we used to get hot meals brought to us. So they used to be driven over from LSA Anaconda to my fob. Uh, our headquarters company actually used to go pick it up, and then the QRF would go with them to protect them, and then bring our food back to us. The My fob was actually right down the road from LSA Anaconda, which was a big air base. It was once forgot what it's called now. It's an Iraqi name now. Um, it was a Iraqi air base. We took it over, and it became our air base. It was one of the big ones uh, in the middle of the Sunni Triangle. So it was had a lot of stuff there. Big. It was definitely a joint base because even though it was run by the Air Force, there's a lot of the Army was there, mainly the Army and Air Force. Uh, there was some Navy personnel there. I don't ever recall seeing any Marines there unless they were going through there, and they were going to the Chow Hall, which was fantastic. Uh, wait, oh, you just picked up a couple of cases? This is I just got two brand new cases, menu and A and B, inspection date 2025. That's good, brand new. New MREs. You got to tell me what flavors you got, man. Now, is it the government MREs, like like what they give us in the military, or is it like from one of those what do you call it? Because actually, I think you could get those now, the government MREs. I think some places they buy surplus from the government and sell them and whatnot. Fucking MREs. Okay, how the hell did we get on the topic of MREs? Somehow I got moved into that topic. My mind is always all over the place. Okay, so it's overrun. All right, so it's yeah. Okay, yeah. DOD overrun, right? Can now I don't know if you guys saw that report. It was either earlier this week or late last week, where we're talking about DOD overrun. There was like billions of dollars or I'm sorry, millions of dollars that were supposed to go towards the army chow halls to help with their food that just disappeared. Never got to and I understand why people are always pissed off in the military, right? One of the three things you don't mess with, okay, with people, especially in the military, the three M's is their money, which is number one, their mail, and their fucking meals. Those are the three things that we live by. We just want more than anything in the military, especially when you get deployed. You just want to be able to get a hot meal. Okay, you want your mail from the world so that you can read your stuff and you can read from your family, friends, whatever it is. And you usually want your money to be on time. And they're messing with people's meals in the military and whatnot. That was the last administration. So, with Pete Hegseth in there, he's gonna fix a lot of stuff. And again, Doge is taking a look at the DoD and finding all kinds of stuff. Doge is looking at the VA, which has a lot of waste. Okay, we're not going to lose our benefits. I know there are some guys there that are out there running on their shows and their what do you call it, YouTube channels that we're going to essentially probably lose benefits. It's not so. Our benefits are covered by law. It's stuff that can't be touched once you get them. Now the VA does go out of their way to try to take people's benefits from them and stuff like that. So that's something that I hope Doug Collins can fix. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed at the VA, but we're not going to be losing our benefits anytime soon, unless you get what do you call it? You get a reevaluation, which after 5 years, if you've been essentially for most people that I know, including myself, after having something for 5 years, they're not supposed to really reevaluate you after that. Anything before that, they can. But I hope those rules get changed. They should just leave people the fuck alone. Um, leave veterans alone, period. But there is a lot of waste in the VA, right? There's a lot of redundant positions. These are things that Doge is looking at. Okay, Doge is on top of that too, and we can't we can't be like, yeah, Doge, Doge, Doge. Okay, and then when they go after something that we like or we need, we can't expect them to just hold back. It's just not. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I am a product of that. Says the VA is proof that universal health care would be a disaster. It is a disaster. I've had pretty decent care. I've been fortunate, but there are horror stories of people. I have friends that have just terrible, terrible stories with the VA, and it's why a lot of us are leery and a lot of us are very, very critical because it should be there should be no issues with the VA. But again, a lot of the issues with the VA is the bureaucracy. There's so much red tape with stuff. They got these gimmicky formulas in order to find out to give people their ratings. So when you get a rating of, for instance, I think the 100% is at like $3,800 is what you get a month, which is a pretty decent amount no matter where you're at. Okay. But if you look at 10%, it's like $175. That is not 10% of 3,800. And I've said for years, and I'm not the only one, a lot of people have said when it comes to benefits, the money should equal the percentage, okay? Equal like together, right? The money is not equaling the percentage. So again, 3,800, it should be $380 essentially, what somebody's getting at 10%. That's what it should be. The money should match, the rating should match the money, is what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't. They got these gimmicky formulas that they use, and it ends up screwing people over. If Doug Collins, which I know he's never going to see this, would just listen to some of us, and just one of the first things after you get rid of all of this freaking the redundancy and you get rid of all these extra positions of people that we don't really need, and unfortunately some of them are going to be veterans that just got hired and are service connected. It's listen, I don't really want to see these guys lose their jobs, but there are a lot of redundant jobs. You got five people with five different titles, okay, uh doing the same job, and it's just redundant. We just got to make it more efficient. uh my clinic, well, my clinic where I'm at now is way better than the one that I had up north in the Northeast, and it's run a lot better, but it's missing a lot. There's a lot of stuff that it's missing. Okay. And if you just ran things a certain way, with our clinics, and got a little bit more like urgent care type, as far as like, you have radiology, a small radiology for like x-rays. I'm not talking about like, MRI machines and CT scans and shit like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But for basic stuff like, x-rays, having, psychiatrists on site at the clinic. Okay, so you don't have to go to a campus. Some people have to drive like an hour and a half to get to a campus sometimes. I personally don't. My campus is like really 15 minutes without traffic, so I'm okay where I'm at now, but it's a lot of things that can be changed. They can make things a little bit more effective. And these are the things that Doge is doing. Okay, going through every department, and just because I'm a veteran and I get VA benefits, yeah, listen, if they took my benefits, it would suck, and I would probably be the first one to be bitching and crying. But I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, because our benefits, okay, especially our money, is protected by law. You can't just go in and fucking touch it. A lot of people are scared. They keep throwing the Project 2025 shit. That's not going to happen to us. There would just be a massive uproar. There are a lot of, I mean, it would just be on both sides of the aisle. There would be a massive uproar if they started taking our money and stuff. So, you know, I wouldn't worry about it if you're a veteran. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep your eye on your eye on things and pay attention. You should pay attention when these things are happening, no matter whether you're a veteran or not, whatever the agency is. But for veterans, if any veterans are listening, don't freak out, but pay attention, okay? And if you see something, speak out, man, and just, report shit to your congressman. I know it's a pain in the ass to do that, and we feel like they're not listening, but they're listening a little bit more now after this last election, because a lot of them got their asses handed to them, so a lot of them barely got back in uh, during this last election, especially Republicans. So, if you're in a Republican district, you hound the hell out of your congressman, and if you're a veteran and you're worried, it's okay, do it. It's your right to do so, to voice your opinion and voice your concerns to your representatives. um what does Scoop say? Says they're gonna bring the ice cube out of you the day they play with your money. It's true. It's true, they're gonna bring it. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it, honestly. I understand what needs to get done. I really, again, don't think they're going to mess with our financial benefits, or medical benefits. It's already bad as it is. If it got any worse because of stupidity, it'll be a problem. So they're gonna look at a lot of probationary jobs, like I said at the beginning of the show, is are going. Those are the ones that are going. The problem we have are the bureaucrats that have been there for decades, right? They're just lifelong bureaucrats their whole life, their whole position, no matter the agency. It doesn't have to be the VA. They just have been there for so long. It's so hard to uproot them. A lot of the unions got a lot of pretty decent power with the government and stuff like that. So it's not easy to just fire people, but there are ways to do it. Um, and again, most of those positions that are being taken away right now are or all probationary period positions and also positions that haven't been filled. They just wipe them off the board, right? So they weren't even filled already. So they didn't, again, we just got to make shit more efficient in the government. And Doge is actually doing that. So, that's my rant on Doge for today. I'm going to close us out with this article and we'll talk about this a little bit because this is just fucking annoying to me right now, but it doesn't surprise me in the least that it's actually happening. Um, you know, this right here. This listen, we just got to cut this shit out. I don't know why we keep doing this stuff. We keep, we got to open our mouths. I'm going to bring it up. So, if you guys are aware of essentially the play and the show, Jesus Christ Superstar, okay, it's been around for a very, very long time. And it's gone through, a lot of changes, obviously, with a lot of the woke shit and everything. But right now, this will burn your ass if you're a Christian, because it burns mine, being one. Cynthia Erivo cast to play Jesus Christ in Hollywood's Bowl's Jesus Christ Superstar. Cynthia Erivo, known for her role as how do you pronounce Elphaba in Wicked? Is that how you pronounce it, fam? I probably said that shit wrong. And for melting down at fans over perceived slights, is once again at the center of controversy as she takes on the title role of Jesus Christ in the Hollywood Bowl's production of Jesus Christ Superstar this summer. While Revo seems thrilled about the casting, many Christians are not, as we should not be. Says the Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice musical will run from August 1st to August 3rd at the venue, with Sergio Trujillo directing and choreographing and Stephen Aramis serving as musical director and conductor. Additional casting is yet to be announced, but Arrivo's casting alone has sparked outrage among many believers who see this as a blatant disregard for their faith, because it is. Cynthia Erivo, who previously played Mary Magdalene in the all-female concept album, All Female Fam, okay? Jesus Christ Superstar. She is Risen, it was called. This was in 2020. I didn't even know about this. Will now take on the role of Jesus Christ, performing some of the musical's most powerful songs like Hosanna, The Last Supper, and Gethsemane. For many Christians, having their Messiah race swapped, gender swapped, and portrayed by an actress who is also in a same sex relationship is deeply offensive. And you should be offensive because they go after Christians and they attack the shit out of us. You know what I want? I'll tell you what I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to see them do something on Islam. And you know who I want to play Allah? Who I would like to see? I want them to go out and find the most dirtiest OnlyFan, okay, actress, actor, model, whatever the hell they call themselves, and let them play Allah, okay, and see how that goes over with Islam, because they don't ever go out of their way to offend anybody else. In a time when many feel Hollywood is more focused on pushing controversial casting decisions, they're still with their woke shit, than respecting cultural and religious traditions. Arribo's casting feels like another instance of prioritizing agendas over authenticity. The decision to gender swap Jesus Christ, a figure revered by billions, no shit, is viewed by as many as direct affront of their faith. Furthermore, Arrivo's history of centering every project around her own identity only adds fuel to the fire. Right? So, like, not only did they make Jesus a woman, but she's on fire. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Jonathan. They made Jesus a woman. Yes, this is Hollywood yet again having fun with Christians, right? Because they like to stick it to us, billions of us across the world, and they like to tell us to go fuck ourselves constantly, right? And then to make it worse, they went and got a loke. Okay, if anybody doesn't know what a loke is, it's a lesbian of color, all right, to go, what do you call it, play Jesus Christ. So there you go, there you have it. Christians no matter what your denomination is. You gotta. Now's the time to be loud about shit, right? We've stood on our heels on this shit for a long time and not said anything. Well, some of us, most of us haven't, but some of us have been fucking preaching that Christianity has been under attack for a long time, for decades. And this is just in Hollywood. I'm not talking about like how things go on in real world. They just lopped off a bunch of heads in some African country of Christians. The Muslims did, um, you know, this week. I forgot what country that is. Jonathan, if you could look that up for me, it might be on Gateway Pundit. I might have saw it and just missed it, but we've been shitted on for a long time, and Hollywood has shit on Christianity, but they won't do anything. They won't shit on Islam. They won't shit on the Hindus, fucking Taoist or whatever the hell. They'll never do that. All right. They'll just continue to freaking shit all over Christianity. And the reason they do that is because we don't say shit to turn the other cheek. But there's this thing called righteous anger that you're allowed to have. Okay. And we should protect Christianity from these fucking demons. All right. There's a woman who should not, one, it shouldn't be a woman playing Jesus Christ. And two, they got a gay woman at that. So to add insult to injury, this is what they did. Okay. Um, well, the Japanese aren't Christians, so they kind of they shit all over Christianity too. A lot. Actually, there's a movement, okay, in Japan, a Christian movement in Japan that's actually gaining a lot of traction. Being that now that you brought that up, Jonathan, believe it or not, it's something that is amazing. I didn't even realize it was happening, and I learned about it a couple of months ago, last year. I was like, holy shit, that's really happening in Japan. There's an actual Christian movement happening in Japan. That's amazing to see because they're not Christian. The Japanese are not Christian. Um, so it's including people losing their families and stuff like that over it and everything, and then eventually making amends. It was just I forgot where I saw it. I was on it was on somebody's YouTube channel. It was an actual thing that I was amazed to see. Yep, I agree with you, Scoop. Smite on site, 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. But this is how they treat us, okay? And as Christians, you got to stop taking this shit, okay? Don't take that shit anymore, all right? And you know, we fix shit with money, okay? When you don't go and these things lose money, that's the only way that these people are gonna learn is they got to feel it in their pocket. These smaller things, because obviously companies like Disney has lost billions of dollars and they continue to do bullshit. Although I haven't heard any recent bullshit coming out of Disney. How about you, Jonathan? Any recent shit coming out of Disney? Any bullshit? I haven't heard anything recently. We take a quick look at that Park Place again. They usually have pretty good articles. They're always on top of shit with Star Wars and yeah, actually, huh. I guess the She-Hulk, the actress that played She-Hulk is trying to be in the new Daredevil thing, but they just like moved on from her. Good. She sucked as the She-Hulk. There's another character they destroyed. God, man, you guys just every time I get into these conversations, it gets me on my fucking. I get heated because every single IP I grew up with is absolute trash now. Can anybody name an IP that we grew up with, science fiction, fantasy, comics, whatever it is, that isn't trash now? Can somebody please school me something that's still good? Because if it is, then I'll go check it out. I promise I'll go I'll look for myself. And I don't know any IPs that haven't been destroyed with the race swapping and gender swapping and freaking, it's stupid. It's so dumb. A lot of these things have some great source material. Uh oh yes, that's right. That's right. Yes. Black Cap is definitely bombing out right now. Now, to be fair, okay, you know, he did step in for Captain America for Steve Rogers in the comics, but it went so bad, okay, that they had to bring Steve Rogers back. All right. So it's not like they just changed it and then they just changed it for the sake of changing it. There is some history behind that, but it was so terrible and it's having the same effect right now. Nobody wants to see the Falcon as Captain America. It's Steve Rogers. Okay, if you grew up reading these comics, it's always been Steve Rogers. Every time they pulled Steve Rogers out, the comic did terrible. Every time they put him back in, the comics did great. And the Avengers did better. So it is what it is, man. Just leave shit the way it is. Uh, and things will continue to flourish. But hopefully, we're at the end of this shit with Disney and the crap that they're putting out and the I don't think so, but it would be nice if we were at the end of this shit with Disney and all the DEI shit that they've been doing since the Avengers Endgame. After that, everything just went to shit. They were already ruining Star Wars, but uh, the Avengers still, we still had something going. Really? I haven't seen any of the recent ones since I think the Transformers is the only one that hasn't gone woke. That's good to know. I haven't seen anything recent from. I haven't seen any of the recent movies. I know there's been a few over the last couple of years, but I haven't seen it. I think I heard rumors, or maybe they did it already. If someone has seen the recent Transformers that they were supposed to bring Shia LaBeouf back, anybody know if that's true? Again, I've been concentrating on politics for so long because of the shit that we need to get Trump back in office and all the crap that I stepped away from anything that I was doing and paying attention to with Hollywood because there's a lot of bullshit that's going on in Hollywood too that people are just tired of. I'm actually working on trying to get a few of uh actually in March I'm going to have a geeks and gamer person on the show that I'm going to have him on, and it should be a really really great show. He's just been very very busy. What'd you say, Scoop? Says I don't watch woke remakes. It's still Batman the animated series. Yo, Batman the animated series has stood the test of time. Okay, like I don't have Max anymore because like I had to give up all my subscriptions because I'm fucking losing my job. In a little bit over a week, I'm getting laid off, so I canceled all my I had canceled all my subscriptions anyway. But my Max subscription, I would go in and watch Batman and the Superman animated series and the Justice League. They had those old stuff from the '90s and whatnot there, so like those were still they still hold the test of time. Those are still things that I can watch. I feel you on that, man. Batman the anime series was dope. All right, it was just some really, really great stories. The Tim Burton Batman was fantastic. That was his art and whatnot. So like it was fantastic, man. But yes, I will have again. I've concentrated a lot what we do on Mondays and Fridays. Me and Red Day Walker, we concentrate a lot on the whatever political shit is going on during the day or during the week or in this case the month. It's just so much shit to talk about because everything's happening so fast. Um, but I promise I will bring you the entertainment side of things soon. And again, I'm gonna have somebody who's really good dude. He's doing some really good stuff. Who's gonna come on? He's part of the Geeks and Gamers crew. If you followed any of the Geeks and Gamers on YouTube and Rumble, please do. They're good. They've been in fighting the culture war for a long time. Okay, they've been in front of the culture war. Them and guys like Nerdrotic and Eric July and whatnot. They've been fighting the culture war and speaking on it for a very long time, for years. I found a lot of them in like 2016, 2017, and into the early 2020 and stuff like that. So good stuff. The Critical Drinker. I'm plugging all these people because they just always have good stuff. If you're still into watching movies and everything like that, if you're still upset about how your IPs have gotten destroyed, a lot of these guys follow this stuff. And again, they've been pushing in this culture war for a long time, and they have some good insight on stuff. They got good contacts, so they get good information. Also, if you're a big Star Wars fan like I am, Star Wars Theory is a good guy to listen to. He's always he I give it to him because he watches every single show that comes out on Disney that's Star Wars, and he does an episode on them and critiques him and whatnot, uh, and stuff like that. And he has to sit through it. He's a diehard Star Wars fan, like me, and he's into the lore a lot more uh, than I am. I've read a lot of books and stuff like that, but there's a lot of shit when I'm listening to him that I'm like, well, I didn't even know that. He knows a lot of the movie stuff, like things that happened with George Lucas and whatnot. Um, and where you at? It says anime is where it's at right now. Yeah, anime is really hitting it, and mangas are really hitting it. They've been hitting it for a long time. They've been outdoing. Okay, Kristen, bye. Love you. He says, Amen. Just disgusting. Another great show. God bless you and everyone. Love you still. Signing out. See you soon. Love you too, Kristen. It's always good to have you around and hanging with us. Uh, yeah, it's just a lot of good stuff that just gets destroyed, and Again, all of the guys that I was talking about, go check their channels out. If you're still like me and you're still into this stuff, uh, and you've been upset for years now because everything you love is fucking FUBAR right now. Everything is FUBAR. Everything we love is FUBAR right now. But again, I'm trying to. One of the things I want to do on this channel is try to bridge that gap with some of these people because I'm a geek and a gamer too. Even though I'm heavy into politics, I like the game still. I'm still watching my shows. Rogue Nina, what's going on? It's good to see you tonight, hon. Um, I still like to do that shit. What's this? So I don't like remakes, but a samurai version of Star Wars would be dope. Well, it's funny you say that. Okay, Scoop, a lot of the stuff that Star Wars. Okay, George Lucas took a lot of stuff from samurais for that. Okay. Do some research on that. You'd be surprised what George Lucas had his mind on a lot of different things when he was creating Star Wars, including taking from other science fiction that came before and fantasy and whatnot, which I don't really care because he just put out a fantastic what do you call it? Um, you know, yes. Here we go. These are the people. Yeah, there was some people I forgot to mention, so I'm glad you put them up. Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Film Threat with Chris Gore. Film Threat with Chris Gore is fantastic. I advise you guys to take a look at it. He's deep on what's going on in behind the scenes in what do you call it Hollywood because he's a Hollywood guy himself. Disparu's out of England, right? Jonathan Disparu's from England. I know he's part of the Friday Night Tights crew now, um, and stuff. So yeah, and all these people are good people. Okay, and they've just been fighting this culture war for a long time. Uh, it's all right, Rogue Nina. I'm glad you're here. I'm staying a little longer today because I just been in. We're talking some what do you call it? We talk a little Hollywood stuff. If you're just joining us now, we talked about Doge. Uh, we started off. We spoke about 45 minutes about Doge and the government, whatnot, what's going on. We just recently talked about Jesus Christ Superstar. Jesus is going to be a woman and a gay woman at that. So it's just to stick it to Christians even more and to shit all over our religion. But they won't do that to anybody else. Um, no other religions get done the way we do in media. So and around the world. Uh, yes, is yes, that's right. And Heels versus Babyface is what do you call it? He's good too. He's out of England. He used to be on Friday Night Tights. If you guys ever get a chance, to catch Friday Night Tights. They usually come around 3 or 4 o'clock on YouTube. There's a lot of funny shit that goes on there and everything, and they talk a lot of the culture stuff. And like guys like Nerdrotic and the Critical Drinker, they've been on Piers Morgan like repeatedly now on his show talking about the culture war. So you know these guys are breaking into mainstream, which is mainstream is irrelevant now. It's all about independent media, but they're breaking into the mainstream and it's something that I'd like to bridge the gap with, right? Because a lot of big con, they shit all over these people, right? They talk shit about these guys, okay, and don't even realize that a lot of these guys think like us with a lot of things. Maybe not everything, all right, but they've been fighting the culture war, pushing back against wokeism for a long time now. Okay, yes, Shadeversity is good. I actually got his first book. Do you know if he made the second book in his series? Yeah, he's into medieval weapons and shit. He always wears like this knight stuff on Friday Night Tights. It's pretty awesome. Uh Jonathan, you know if he made his second book? I read his first book, which was very, very good. It was fantastic. The way he put the character together was awesome, and the story itself was really, really good. Um, what'd you say, Scoop? Says video games are therapeutic to my stress. I get into VR bar fights at least once a week. Fucking Scoop. You would get into a bar fight. So his second book isn't out yet. I hope it comes out because it's funny when I was packing to leave the Northeast, I grabbed his book and I was like, this is a good book. I got to make sure I put it on the top so that when I start taking my books out, I can actually read it again because it was a very, very good story. He just, you just made me think about somebody I should try to bring onto the show to talk about his book because it is just fantastic, guys. So this is the world that even though we speak heavy on politics here and we're always trying to bring you the truth and we're always trying to for those of you that are seeking it, um, we love our chat because our chat is fantastic. The truth seekers and truth tellers are always in our chat, and the dialogue that actually goes back on YouTube. Okay, between the people in the chat is always fantastic. So it's something that I appreciate. I know my co-host, Red Day Walker, who's on Mondays and Fridays, he appreciates it as well. Our guests who come on the show when we have people on the show on Mondays and Fridays, um, they absolutely, hey, what's going on, Blondie? What's up? It's good to see you on. Um, so we appreciate you all, okay, because you guys help make the show. So now I'm gonna give you guys a shout out. So uh I appreciate the chat very, very much. You know, it's yeah, Jonathan, you do know a lot of them. You do know a lot of creators. You know a lot of them because you mod for a lot of them too. So, if you don't know about Jonathan Stevie, my moderator, he mods for like 2,000 freaking no, not 2,000 obviously. He's got like fucking how many do you got? Like 6 or 7 creators that you mod for? You're constantly doing this shit. Like, and he makes the time to not only mod for me, but mod for other creators at the same time. And he's good at what he does. So, we appreciate him here. Uh, but I appreciate you all that tune in. Okay. It's very, very important for me. Uh, it helps me a lot. You guys are a big, 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 okay, part of the show. No matter whether it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you're a big part of the show. You guys, again, you interact with one another. You take care of the trolls when they come in. You guys absolutely decimate them, which is awesome. We don't even have to deal with it. Like Red Day and I don't ever actually have to deal with it. Every now and then we'll jump in, like I've had to, but you guys are always taking care of it, and we totally, totally appreciate that you do. So just know that the fact that you guys give us your time, we appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. From the creation of this channel, uh, doing short form films, and then going to like live shows like this, and actually having you guys hang with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's some of the same people over and over, and I see the counts. And there are some people who haven't introduced themselves, but I know they're there, and I appreciate you too. Even if you haven't introduced yourself, I appreciate it because you take your time and you give me your time from 8 to 10 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I appreciate it. And there's more coming. So, like I made mention, I'm getting laid off next month, the beginning of the month. So I'm gonna work some things around to see if I can give you more content now, because I'm gonna have the time to do it. So I'm gonna get back into doing short form videos during the day. I'll drop some videos on the channel for you guys to watch. I'll concentrate on the politics on like Monday, part of the week, and then I'll do some entertainment stuff, mix that in. You know, uh the scoop, Jonathan, this is for you, brother. He says Jonathan got multiple live streams up running like he's in the damn bat cave. It's true. You're up to 17 now, bro? Holy shit, man. I don't know how you do it, bro. Get the hell out of here. You modded this Wednesday, the Wednesday chin wag for a bunch of British and German. So would you do that during the day? Any of them speak good English? I'd love to bring them on. I'd love to bring some of them on the show. See if you can set that up, bro. I'd like to hear from them. I'd like to hear from our British cousins, to tell you the truth, because the shit that's going on in England is insane. Let your British dude know that we'd like to talk to him, man. I want to. That's another thing I want to try bringing you, right? I'm trying to reach out to some Canadians. Uh, to see if I can get them to come and talk their politics of what's going on, because our cousins, we got right wingers. Listen, we got conservative Christians and conservatives all over our other countries, so our Canadian and British cousins, they got a fight going on too, and they're fighting for their lives in many cases. We're fortunate because of our constitution and the way it's made up, that even with all the bullshit that has gone on for decades, we can still write our ship because of the rules that are in our constitution, right? The way the laws and the what you got talking to you guys about local, 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 and the state constitutions are based off the U.S. Constitution, the federal Constitution. So, you know, local, 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 and just constantly pay attention. Yeah, I know they're 6 hours ahead. We'll have to work something out with them. Yeah, man. See if you could. Let's talk to your British dude first, man. I'd like to bring someone on to if he's willing to come on late. If he's not, if on like a Friday night. going into the weekend and stuff like that. If he's willing to come on, maybe, or maybe we'll do a special show for, so I'm gonna have time coming up, not next week, the following week, in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have time, so I'll be able to do a daytime show with them. So that actually might be pretty good. That's gonna work out for me. After the third, I'll probably be able to do a daytime show with them because I'm gonna have all the time in the world. So yeah. Anyway, if you're just joining us, we talked about Doge. We talked about the media meltdown over Doge. We talked about the things that Doge was doing. When I'm done here, I will fix the description. I'm gonna add the Doge clock there, and then on the Doge clock, and I'll also put the national debt clock link in the description as well for you all. But on the Doge clock, okay, the ticker, you can actually go from there. You can go to the Doge website, and there's a whole bunch of information that they put out daily. And on their homepage, they put out all their tweets. So they've been as transparent as possible, seeing all the shit that they do and everything. So, um, that's gonna be good. No, again, I appreciate you all for talking to you as always. I enjoy my nights with you all. I appreciate every single one of you. I want to thank the one and only Blondie for coming in and hanging out. Rogue Nita, thank you for coming out. Scoob is always just like, man, Scoob just makes us laugh constantly. Um, the Christ Influence was with us. Okay, she jumped in for a little bit. All of you on Rumble who've been tuning in and whatnot, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching tonight and watching every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're on Rumble, please, drop some chats so we know who you are, so we can talk to you. I can't see you uh, when you guys talk from Rumble in my studio, so I can acknowledge you. So don't worry about it. We will acknowledge you if you have something important to. We'll throw it up on the screen for everybody to see. If you got a good wealth of information. Our people are. You have a Canadian conservative friend who might come on. Do you really? You have one, Rogue Nina? Nina. So yo, get a hold of me on Instagram. Send me a voice message, and then we'll talk. And I'll give you my personal information and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. Um, Again, thank you all for joining me tonight. So, with that said, I am the Big Red One signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will see you all on Friday night, fam. Have a good night.